Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is doing great. Welcome to my CAT and IT session. Today, we're just going to be focusing on computer applications technology, some ifs. We're also going to look at Vlookup and Hlookup, maybe. So, we'll see how it goes. So, in this case, I just want to show you guys that in grade 10, you did some that was adding up the numbers, and then you did some if in grade 11 that adds up numbers using one condition, and then you had some ifs that adds numbers using multiple conditions. For example, you have them right there, and one thing to always remember, the sum range has to do with the numbers. It always has to do with the numbers. You cannot sum up the words, remember that. And then now we're just going to go and apply the main practical work. We're going to open the 3 lectures, and then they're saying we must insert a sum ifs function. Why did they tell us? They shouldn't have done this. Insert a sum ifs function in cell D5 to determine the total monthly salary, okay, paid to South African lecturers who work full-time. Okay, so we are going to focus on South African and then the full-time. Let's get down to the main business without wasting any time. So they said we must work in D5. So right there in D5, I'll just go and then locate some if. You can search it if you can't see it on yours. I'll locate some ifs, and then from there I'll then try to look for the monthly salaries that they're talking about, and then make that my sum range. I want to sum up this. There's the monthly salaries that they're talking about. And then the criteria range, I have to now refer to, remember I think they said something that has to do with full-time. Yeah, so this is the employment part. And then I'm just going to select that. That is the range. Now here where it says criteria, this is where I then now type in full dash time. So make sure that it's written exactly like that. And then here you can see that there are no quotations, so I must add the quotations around the text. But some computers, immediately when you click away, they automatically add the quotations for you. So just make sure of that. Double check. Criteria range 2. Now the second criteria range that I have to focus on, it's the South African part. What is this? This is the nationality. Remember, we had full-time and South African, so we are focusing on those. And then when it comes to criteria 2, I will then type South Africa just like that, and then I'll click away for me to have those quotations. And be careful, you can see what I typed right there. I typed South Africa, but in this case here it's South African, so we must make sure of such things. So I'll say South African and then click on my OK, and then I'll have the final results right there. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully everyone gets that. So let's proceed. Now here I have what we call Vlookup, and Vlookup, I like to outline to learners that it is a vertical lookup. It has to do with the, maybe let's say, a table that is vertically aligned, that is information going down, that is just vertically aligned. So it searches down the first column of the table and returns a value from a specified column. And then right here you have the syntax, for example. And then next you have some explanations right there. Lookup value, the value you want to find. That's the lookup value. Table array, this is the table area. I like to outline this to my learners. I always say this is the table area, the table that contains the data. And then call index number, the column number containing the value you want to return. And then we have the range lookup. This is whereby now you outline if you want the exact match, the approximate match, etc, etc, etc. But when you say false, it is the exact match. So when you say false right there, you'll get the exact match, and then true will be just an approximate match. You then have Hlookup. Hlookup, now it is a horizontal lookup. So it is horizontal, searches information that is just located on that horizontal alignment. Make sure of that. So before you can even attempt to answer such things, if they don't tell you to use a V or H lookup, just look at your table or the one that you have on your sheet and just try to analyze, break it down, try to understand, is the information horizontally or vertically aligned. So make sure of that. And then there we go, we have the foreshows. We must open that. They're saying we must insert a function in cell C10 to determine the session for Peters. I hope I said it right. B, that's the, okay, so that's Peters B. Use the show time and the session worksheet. Okay, so we'll use 2 sheets. I think so. Let's confirm. They said 4 shows. Do we have 4 shows? Oh, there we go. We have 4 shows right there. Ah, that's right there. What are we going to do here? As we can see, okay, the information here, but they say we must use the session. Once and if you can see here on the session, this is just a vertical alignment. The information is going down and down. So let's confirm. We'll just go back FX, and then I'll go back to my Vlookup. Now as I'm there, I'll then refer to the lookup value. What value am I going to focus on right there? Then they mentioned something that has to do with the show time. So now we just have to do the cell referencing. So we're referencing to that show time so that even when we do autofill, it works out. So I'll refer to that. So I'll say F10. And then now they say the table area. Remember, there's the table area. And one thing that I like about this FX, which is the function bar, is that you get explanations right here at the bottom. Table area, you see all those things, you get all those explanations. So now I'll just go to my sessions, and then I'll just try to select the whole table right there. And before I can do the absolute cell referencing, let me just proceed. So now the call index number, that's the column that you would like to extract from. Let me just refer. Let me remove that. So you must be careful whenever you move in and out of these sheets. There will be referring or linking to the previous one, or the one that you are currently working on, just like what just happened a few seconds ago. Sessions was now referenced here, so you just be careful of such things. And then here, call index number, which column has the information that I want to extract or take out. What did they say on our instructions? They say determine the session for that person right there. So the session is located on the second column. So I'll just type in 2, and at this part here, it doesn't matter. I don't have to make it true or false here. I can leave it like this. So I'm just going to click OK. Now look at what happens. Let's see if this can work out. Look at what happens right there. Why do you think such a thing is happening? Remember, we did not lock on the other side. Let's go back. So let's undo what we just did. Let's undo that nonsense and then go back. Make sure that we lock this. And how do we lock? We must make sure that it does not move out of this specific table that is here. So this from A1 up until B4, it must just be locked right there. So we must just make sure. We'll just press F4 to make sure that there are those dollar signs, F4 even on the other side, and then click OK. And then after that, we'll just try. Okay, let's see if it will work again. Yes, so it's the same information right there. We are on the right track, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we did our Vlookup. Now let's just try to see if we would be able to work around this with the Hlookup. I'll just copy this table right here and then come here, try to just transpose it. Oh, let's see. I think we might be cooking something here. I think we are cooking, ladies and gentlemen. Seems like we are cooking. Let me just, yeah, let's see. So in this case, let me say maybe I wanted to focus on the same thing, but just here. Okay, let me make it here on top so that it doesn't become too confusing. Let's just say Hlookup now, because the table is now horizontal. and then I'll say same thing. Let's apply the same thing. We are referring to this F10. The table area is this. Let's just log same time here. Make sure, and then the column here, the row. Now it's no longer the call index number. Look at this, it's no longer the columns, it's the rows. So which row has the information that I must display? It's row number 2, and then I'll just do that and then click OK, and then just like that I have the Hlookup and the Vlookup, ladies and gentlemen. Simple as ABCD. Thanks a lot for joining my session, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love. See you all next time.